Good evening, traders. It's 7 o'clock Eastern. Thanks for attending on a Monday evening. I'm sure you've got other things you could be doing. Speaking of which, we're going to be sending this out to our clients and stakeholders after so that you have a copy. So if you can't attend one of the webinars, keep in mind that you'll always end up getting a copy after. This specific, well, first of all, my name's Curtis, and I'm with Compound Trading. I'm the founder of Compound Trading Group. And this specific webinar, very brief webinar, informal, is specifically about our crude oil machine trading software, the development of that software, where we're at now, how things are going, our process of development, our profit and loss in development, and where we're planning on going next with it. So probably the best way to start is to explain that we're currently using version 3. We have 4 versions. We started development about 3 years ago with algorithmic modeling, and we slowly moved into machine trading. And as of today, I trade in the room, the oil trading room, live, but I'm also alerting the trades for the machine trading, specifically to version 3. We developed up to what we call version 4. Version 4 was extremely aggressive. It had or does have potential of, I believe, over 800% a year, and I know that's a crazy number. But it's aggressive, so it's not only aggressive to potential upside, it's also aggressive in architecture to potential downside drawdowns. So we abandoned running it because we just couldn't stomach the real world activity, trading activity, and we reverted back to version 3 that's very stable. It doesn't have even a hint of considerable drawdowns at any given time. It's been running for 7 weeks now, so it's hundreds of executions in. At the 8-week mark, it's almost mathematically impossible for failure in terms of its projected returns and or stability. The bottom line with version 4 is that right now it's running between 83% and 93% projected ROI based on real world trades 7 weeks in. I think as of today, it's at 88%. Now that's not a compound figure, that's a straight gain return on equity or investment. So considering the best Renaissance fund ran at about 71% for a while, and the best fund last year ran at 55%. And that fund, by the way, is extremely volatile. Its prior year was a significant drawdown. So therein is the goal to have appropriate gains to the technology, the machine learning technology that's available to us, with appropriate downside risk protection. And that's where V3 is at. So if you go to our website, compoundtrading.com, you'll find updates. There's an oil machine trade software update, version 4 versus version 3 that you see on your screen. That's dated August 5th. You just go to the blog part of our website. That'll be right here. You can click on all content if you like. This particular post explains how we reverted back to version 3 and basically what I just explained to you. Also, So I'm starting from where we are now, I guess, and then I'm going to work backwards here. We just put out an article yesterday, so August 25th, on the returns as it would be compounded based on its current projected ROI. So as of yesterday, it was 90%. So there's an article that explains where we've come from, kind of what's happening in the AI and machine learning technology globally. Tells you about what our perspective is, how we got from being day traders to machine trading, stability of the software. Then it talks about the different versions. Version 1, we were returning about 20% per annum. Version 2, 40. Version 3, 80. More recently, 90. And the goal for version 4 was 160. And that's the one that we abandoned, and we've gone back to V3. And we'll stay with V3. V4, someday we'll let it go on an account. But that'll be separate and apart from our normal operating procedures with V3. V3 eventually, you know, my guess is it'll return somewhere between 100 and 150% a year. Right now, it's in the 90% range. So the article goes into the stability. This is the graph of the 7 weeks. It had 3, yeah, I don't even know if that was a drawdown day. If it was very slight. This day here, you know, I think it was 0.2%. Then here there was one that was a little larger. It might have been in the 0.5, 0.6% range of the account. And that's it. The last, well, there were a couple trading days ago where it just didn't get a return. So that's, I think, yeah, that's the 0 line there. Anyway, that's the trajectory of the trade profit on a sample $100,000 account. So it's doing extremely well. At 8 weeks, we consider it proven. At 12 weeks, just mathematically impossible for it not to follow the trajectory that it's on. This is compound gains, 252 trading days in a year, 90% ROI projected, the monthly, the daily, total investment 100,000, after 3 years, 761,000 compound. Here's another that has the same inputs, and after 6 years, 5,801,000. The specific reason for 6 years is that we think that our general perspective of the markets in the transition from human mechanically traded liquidity into machine trading, into AI, in a totally propagated way. Our guess is about 6 years out, so by about 2025. So for us, it's about it's a race to the day that not necessarily singularity as mankind is considered, but a form of singularity in the markets. There's a big question mark what that'll look like, whether or not that's going to increase volatility or not, or price discovery, and what that'll actually look like. So we're on a path for the next 6 years. After that, it really isn't clear. Now, that could be 3 years, that could be 9 years, but we're guessing 5 or 6 years out that these markets will be completely different markets. They're already changing in a significant way if you do a little bit of research. So the bottom line of this article is that what I know for sure is our V3 Epic crude oil machine trade software is extremely stable, has near zero downside risk, and has consistent gains. And then I just noted that it's been running for about 7 weeks, and that at 8-week mark it is almost mathematically impossible for it to fail, and at the 12-week point it is something like approximately 99.9999% sure it will meet or exceed expectations within the current ROI trajectory. And then I go into my guess of its possible returns in the future and provide some links of some of the better performing or best performing quantitative funds ever. And the best being, of course, Renaissance at 71%. So that's basically the returns and performance. We don't expect to be going any further in terms of version 5. We don't expect to go back to version 4 except with a very small sample account that'll be completely separate and apart from anything but a test. As far as the process of development, so what we did was we took conventional charts and we built algorithmic models. So an example of an algorithmic model is Epic's 30-minute model. This model is a two-dimensional manifestation of the historical trade of crude oil and what trend lines or indicators are most important in day-to-day trade on a 30-minute time frame. So what we did was we took all the different time frames, 1 minute, 3 minute, 5, up to your monthly charting. We back tested all that, and now we have a manifestation of these models. So it'd be similar to the Renaissance Fund, how they developed their programs, and other top performing quant funds. Now, that part of it, that was a large part of it, of course, and our clients, our members, our subscribers get a copy of all of those models every week. There's a whole bunch of them. There's between 15 and 30 at any given time. And all that the software does is it's coded to execute trades based on those important support and resistance and indicators that have historically proven to be key. Now there's geometric indications, there's traditional trend lines, there's various structures, right? So if you're a trader and you understand Fibonacci, that would be one example. Another example are trend lines. Another example would be historical support and resistance that time and time again just seems to, or it doesn't seem to, because this is a scientific mathematical process, over and over again becomes a support or a resistance area. So myself as a trader, if I was using the models, I would use each one of those lines you see on the screen as support and resistance, but they all have a meaning. Now the software, with many thousands of instructions now, has all of those models in the software, so it's coded right into the software. So the software can make the 5,000 decisions in lightning speed. This is why its win rate is, I don't even know what it is, it's in the high 90%. So for example, today, it won 4 out of 4 of its trades. So it wins almost every trade. Why? Because it's making around 5,000 decisions before it buys or sells or sizes. What it also has coded to it is a proprietary order flow software. You could call it an add-on. We call it the ident program. And what it is, and to keep it really simple, the charts part of it that I just explained, the models, to keep that simple, we just took charts and we back tested them, right, on different time frames, and the software makes decisions like a trader does on support and resistance weighed against historical data, right? What makes the software more proficient or better than a human trader is that it can make decisions instantly. And with crude oil, being that estimates are 80% is traded by machine now, it's pretty important to be able to make those decisions very quickly and know where you are on the playing field. What ident does is to keep it really simple and basic. We simply subscribe to the different order flow. There's an alert on oil there. We simply subscribe to the order flow providers, and that's a little bit different because you can't take order flow as we know and understand it. You can't take the historical order flow and back test it the same way we did with the charts. So that's something that has to be done live. So that's where the development team comes in, the coding team and development team, and the trading team working together. So when I'm trading live in the oil trading room during the day, I'm communicating over a microphone to our subscribers, and I'm alerting, or we are alerting, to the live crude oil trade alerts feeds. But what I'm also doing is I'm also communicating with the coding developers and explaining to the engineers when I see a challenge with the way that the machine is trading. It's getting to the point now where it's teaching me, but that's basically the relationship. So they're coding live, but they're not just coding live based on my comments and the communication back and forth. And now the machine learning is teaching me as much as I'm teaching it. What's happening with the order flow is there's live order flow that's being calculated, and now that we have our own software for it, we're able to back test that. So we can harness that data. So the longer that software runs or has a life, the more information we get, the more precise it gets. And that's why the win rate with the software is going up, and the returns, the subsequent returns are going up. And as the software learns how to navigate that information better, or that information gets better, and the software learns how to navigate the structures of the models better. So it'd be like that game Go. If you watch that AlphaGo documentary on Netflix, or Google's DeepMind, they explain, that's a great documentary that explains the processes that we're involved in day to day. We're in the middle of exactly the same process. So when I watched that documentary, I was like, well, this is exactly what we do every day. So we are, when we look at that screen that you see, we're seeing the same thing that AlphaGo sees, or the Go game. For me, it's just another game of Go, because I'm now thinking of it the way that the machine learning thinks of it. And if you watch that documentary, you'll find that the world's best Go player, which is apparently the most complicated game in the world that they said machines couldn't beat, the humans the best. Anyway, if you watch that, you'll see how the world's best ends up learning from the software. Same idea. So, in a nutshell, that's how we developed it. We literally just traded, and the engineers developed based on my trading and some of our other traders, the algorithmic models, conventional charting models, and now the proprietary ident order flow. And we're teaching the software, and now I'm starting to learn what it really means to win, because the way that the structures work, when you start machine learning, you understand how a trader should actually be trading. And of course, over time, it's going to have more and more setups. It's going to be more refined, and that's why I think it'll probably, the version 3 will probably get up into the 150% range. So that's basically the development process. There's a few documents I opened here. So the one is, this is our home page, and this is this is compoundtrading.com. This is a good page if you want to follow kind of where we're at. We try and post, we've got a lot of content because we've tried to very transparently share our experience, because we had a goal from day one, and there's a lifespan to everything, and we're going into the next and the next, right? And we wanted to make sure that we could leave our experience for people that wanted to learn. But anyway, on the front page, you'll see you can sign up for our mailing list for complimentary trade reports and different information. There's some press on Sovereign, one of our partners, that chose us for the data. Recent memorandums, so that's about what I'm speaking to right now, and things like the webinar times and that kind of thing. But anyway, you can go through these, and it'll give you a feel of where we've come from and what we're doing. Different profit and loss statements, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to produce as much content as I can that explains day to day when I'm day trading crude oil with this software. A lot happens behind the scenes in my communication with the engineers, and what I try and do is I try and take that real world experience of day trading crude oil and what the machine trading is doing and how it traded, and take what was shared in the live oil trading room and or to the alert feeds, and put that in a post so that our members, clients, and general public can maybe learn for it. It's a little more difficult for the general public that doesn't subscribe to our models, because they of course don't have those to work with, because it definitely helps. But even without those, any oil trader can read these articles and gain a lot of understanding to structured trading and how we're doing things. And I've had a number of people comment to me that they're really enjoying them, and that they're definitely causing them to level up in their own trade. So it's to share, to be very transparent, to tell people about our excitement in what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we've found success in it, because our thinking on it is that it should be shared to a point, like our proprietary order flow software. Well, we're not going to take all that work. It's like, for example, I'm not going to share the code and how it's developed. The code is developed for the machine learning, because that was 6 man-years of time, and that's getting into the millions of dollars in costs, and it's proprietary, and now the order flow, that kind of thing. No, but the grassroots, how we did it, how it can help traders that are mechanically, day trading, executing trades, crude oil trades on their own, and that kind of thing. If we can help out with that, great. And also what it does is it encourages folks to communicate with me, message me. We get a lot of heads up on different things that other people are seeing, and so there's a little bit of a community there. Nothing like your average equity momentum, morning momentum day trading community. Definitely not as vibrant as that, but we definitely have a really strong, tight community that communicates. So anyway, this is my way of putting it out there. So that's one way that you can take a look at what we're doing. If you are an oil trader, by the way, there is Crude Oil Trading Academy, Learn to Trade Oil. So all the articles, there's hundreds of them now, are there. And then, of course, you can just go to the blog if you like. If you want our oil alerts or to get access to the oil trading room or the weekly reports with the models, the best way probably is just to go to about, or I'm sorry, the shop page, and there's a master menu there, pricing, features, and promos. So in terms of where we're going from here, we are going to start developing machine trading software for other financial instruments. I'm not going to say right now what those are because we haven't completely decided. We've been looking at the S&P and we've been looking at Bitcoin and we've even looked at equities. But for now, it's oil. In terms of where we're going with the oil trading, we're going to, or I guess with the whole growth of what we're doing, compound trading as you see it today, that service is going to continue, but we are going to move a separate entity into the technology side of it, you know, the algorithmic model and development of machine trades for various machine learning for various financial instruments and maybe other things. So, pardon me, there'll be more information about that coming soon. But for now, we want to finish the first 8 weeks. So in a week, we're done that, and that's our proof positive at that point. At 12 weeks, we're completely done our initial real-world testing, and we're going to produce white paper at 8 and 12 weeks, and then every 3 months after that, whatever performance. And of course, we're going to be formalizing our machine learning trading platform, and likely, very likely, we're going to very soon be engaging the equity markets for a much more formal environment. So those are the kind of things that we're looking at going forward. As far as the average day trader or traders or clients that we have in compound trading, none of that's going to change. That's going to be the same service and hopefully just get better over time. So I think that pretty much covers our trading profit and loss performance, our development process, and what we have planned going forward, and what you can do to access our information. So you go to compoundtrading.com. The front page is probably your best resource. I did explain that we have some memorandums out that explain kind of what's been happening. The returns and the compound returns are all on the website. This is an example of one of the articles. So in the articles, I just explain, you know, what was happening in the oil trading rooms and the guidance that we were putting out, and then the setup for the trade and the different locations of the trades. You can see this is a good example, this chart, where the software hits the bottoms, you know, and it just knows its order flow well enough that it can just continue to hit those bottoms and then surrender and close trades as price goes up. Now that part of it we're working on right now. Like here, this would be a good example where, you know, it's surrendered. Well, it's surrendered most very early, but this is you know, the 90% that it's running right now. It's doing it just surrendering very, very soon, and that's why I know the profits are going to go up, because it's figuring out how to hold into this and surrender and hold longer as it goes. This was a great example here. You know, that was high of day right before settlement. So anyway, that's an example of those feature articles I've been doing, and then this is an example of a report that we send out to members, and it just takes our members through the series of important rule set, right, that the software is programmed to, so that at home or in their enterprise, where they might have traders of their own, they can execute on the two-dimensional charts and our oil alerts. This is my personal account on Twitter, Kurt Melanoply. So if you need to contact me on there, you can direct message me. You just follow me. We do have my pinned tweet. I post updates every day of the performance, and I show examples of the alerts and different things on there. So if you want to keep up with us there, you can do that. Epic, the oil algorithm, has its own Twitter account, and there again, it posts its own. We post to it different examples of trades and the articles and stuff. So if you're interested in following along with our experience, you're welcome to go there. And then if you are going to register to the trade alerts, there is that promo on right now, and that's going to end in September. I just thought I'd let you know. So if you're in the webinar right now and you've never used our service, you qualify for that, and that's a trial for the first month, and you get 50% off. I don't know the date that it's going to expire, but I know, speaking to Jen earlier today, she's got an expiry date coming up in September for that. She'll advertise it, but I don't know the date right now. And that's about it, really. That's I think covers the basics of the actual, where did we come from with this, how did we do it, the actual profit and loss, the development process, and how you can access information, access us. So again, my name's Curtis. I'm the founder of Compound Trading, and you can email me if you like, direct at compoundtradingofficial@gmail.com. That's compoundtradingofficial@gmail.com. And you can always just, type my name into Google, Curtis Melanoply, and all the different ways to get me on social media will come up, or you can type in the algorithm's name. It's Epic, the oil algorithm, or Compound Trading. And you can message me or ask any questions you like whenever you need to. Our next webinar tonight, by the way, is in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. That's a webinar specific to how to use our platform. So how to use our oil trade alerts, our live trading room, the Discord server, the chat, where I put all the setups in for our members, and how to use our algorithmic models and conventional charting and the reports and that kind of stuff. So thanks for coming out. I'm going to call this one a few minutes early, which is good. And it'll give you a few minutes to look at what's going on in futures trading. We're expecting, by the way, a pretty big week. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with the API Tuesday at 4:30 and EIA report Wednesday morning, because Mr. Trump was starting to backpedal there. So I expect there might be quite a large build coming this week. We'll see how those inventories look, but we're looking for some pretty significant volatility between here and for sure October 21st, just so you know. All right, thanks for coming out, and you have a great night, and make sure you message me if you have any questions.